Hello, my name is Walter Iniguez, and today I'm going to be doing a quick presentation on the assessment questionnaire, Navigating Operational Challenges. For the agenda today, it'll be turnaround instance, performance infrastructure, and then of course, final tips and takeaways. So for question 1, diagnostic process across multi-unit portfolio, what I would look for and why. For me, when I step into a multi-unit portfolio with revenue decline, no matter what it is, my focus quickly goes across 4 core levers: demand, conversion, retention, and capacity. Normally, I give myself enough time to do a full audit before I start implementing any new strategies. But with this scenario, with 2 other locations opening up, my first 72 hours, I'm pulling revenue trends by location. This is daily, weekly, and monthly. Lead flow and conversion rates. This is where a lot of the breakdown usually happens. Membership churn and attendance pattern, and then utilization rates. This is your classes, coaches, schedule, and efficiencies. From my time at Orange Theory, Exponential, and Culture, I've learned that revenues are rarely top-line problems, but almost always system breakdowns between marketing, sales, experience, and retention. We have a saying in the fitness industry: you can't outperform a poor diet. And so you'll hear a lot of this throughout this presentation, and I usually bring this up to owners and operators, and it resonates with them. But you can't outperform a poor in-studio experience, and you can't retain what you never properly sold. This is important. This is why we want to market the studio experience and sell to retain. Prioritization: where I focus versus where I delegate. So once I have clarity, I prioritize based on speed to impact and revenue sensitivity. I use this simple framework of high impact, immediate fix, I own directly; high impact, process driven, I systemize and then of course delegate; low impact, deprioritize. So where do I personally step in? It's the sales process breakdown. These are your scripts and developing of new scripts, follow-ups, and then close rates. GM accountability, leadership gaps, pricing, promo strategy decisions, and studio culture issues impacting retention. Where I delegate: execution of outreach campaigns, class schedule optimization. This is with guidance, of course. Local marketing activation, and then of course staff training once systems are stabilized. At Culture, I scaled by building clear scorecards for GMs. So this was your daily KPIs, your leads, your bookings, your closes, and then of course weekly KPIs, net members and retention, and then monthly targets. Okay, part 3, running turnaround. This is where most operators fail, and they treat this as 2 separate jobs, whereas I treat it as 1 system with 2 timelines. I separate strategy but unify execution. So for the turnaround studios, stabilize revenue, I fix sales pipelines immediately. This is where you see your fastest return on investment. Re-engage inactive members and leads, optimize schedule for utilization, and then tighten team accountability with daily reporting. This is your end of shift reports, etc. For new studios or pre-sales, I build a demand before doors open, and we want to be strategic about when we start this. And we set this up with founders' rates and make sure that we set up pre-sale targets. This is anywhere between your 300 to 500 members base before opening doors. And then, of course, hire and train sales team, not just coaches. And then I implement a proven playbook from day 1. Here, we're not experimenting. It's plug and play. All in all, I build a central operating system across all units. So instead of managing 4 separate studios, I implement 1 sales playbook, 1 CRM follow-up cadence, 1 KPI dashboard, and 1 weekly accountability rhythm. As we move into question number 2, designing performance and reporting infrastructure. At Exponential, when I step into CycleBar, we faced similar issues on fragmented systems, low visibility, and teams operating on activity rather than outcomes. My first move was to centralize data and automate reporting so the team could focus on selling and delivering an experience, not just admin work. I would implement 3 KPI structures: 1 on the studio level, self level, and an ownership level. On the studio level, this was your membership conversion rate, lead to book rate, show rate, revenue per class per member, churn rate, and then class utilization. On the staff level, this was your contacts per lead. This is speed to lead and follow-ups, appointment set rate, close rate, and attendance to conversion ratio. On the ownership level, this was your revenue growth by location, customer acquisition versus lifetime, and portfolio-wide conversion trends. To make this actionable, it was important that we clean the CRM, this is your Club Ready, to automate daily and weekly reporting. Moving on to improving conversion rate. Here I set up 4 key steps. A 2.4 conversion rate signals a breakdown across the entire funnel, not just sales skills. At CycleBar, we improved conversion by rebuilding the system and not just retraining staff. So obviously that was important as well. My approach was diagnose the funnel, fix the non-negotiables, coaching and accountability, and building buy-in. So on diagnose the funnel, here's where I check in where is the drop-off, lead response time, booking and show rate, and of course, in-studio close. Typical speed to lead time, fix the non-negotiables. Here's where we speed to lead under 5 minutes. Minimum follow-up cadence. These are your calls, texts, and emails. When is the appropriate time for which? And then standardized booking scripts with ongoing improvement as well. The last thing we want to do is sound like bots. And then lastly, clear in-studio sales process tied to client experience. So for step 3, coaching and accountability. At Culture, I implemented a scorecard and coaching cadence model. Daily individual performance tracking versus targets. Weekly one-on-one coaching focused on conversion behaviors, not just numbers. And then monthly performance reviews tied to incentives. For me, it's important to implement a coaching and development mindset, and it's not generic. This is always data backed. The lack of operational clarity is a system issue, not necessarily a people issue. I've solved this by implementing centralized, simple workflows. I would deploy a system like full data keeping on Club Ready. This is where a lot of the times gets overlooked and underutilized. And I integrate it with Slack or group text messages based on each department. And of course, end of shift reports. This gives ownership, visibility, and collaboration. My experience at Culture, adoption fails when systems are overbuilt or forced too quickly. My rollout would be start with leadership and pilot locations, build workflows based on real use cases, not just theory, train teams on live sessions with real examples on my consultative approach, mock calls, presentations, and scenarios, and replace old systems entirely. No dual workflow, and bog the team down. So as we reach the end with my final thoughts, I personally would never advise a founder owner on opening new locations with well underperforming studios. For me, you cannot build on poor foundation, and with this studio performing close to this scenario means that it's operating on a poor foundation. But in the event that the new studios are in the process of opening and we're in this scenario, then I would need to act in crisis mode and get the business operations in good health by applying my proven strategies, working with many of these types of business models. I would also point out that Club Ready is a great tool on its own without an ERP or project management tool, but many owner-operators don't use its full capabilities and therefore contribute to poor performance of the studios. All data should be properly put in the system for better reporting and decision-making, like day-to-day operations, sales, and marketing, which should all be in alignment. Once we've exhausted all its capabilities, then we can bring an ERP or project management tool like Asana or Monday, which I'm very familiar with. I would also bring my consultative mindset approach to business development or sales and ongoing coaching and development of the organization, but we can dive deep into this on a much later time. I hope these answers were helpful, and I look forward to an in-person interview.